Rule 4 was ignore the knocking. Jake ignored it, but when the knocking turned into the sound of the roof being torn apart, he realized whatever was out there wasn't knocking anymore. It was trying to get in. Do you dare take the night shift at a place where the thing with no eyes and no teeth knows your name? Jake, 24 and a college dropout, didn't choose the job. The job chose him. The graveyard shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. at Wrench and Go gas station 374, was the only available work. It was a crumbling brick oasis, marooned on a 50-mile stretch of desolate Interstate 40. No streetlights, no cell service, and virtually no one. The pay was decent, but the solitude was deafening. May 17th marked Jake's 22nd night. He was used to the smell of stale coffee and stale air. The only truly odd thing about the place was the official-looking, yet unnerving sheet of paper his manager, Howard, had given him. The 7 rules for the I-40 night shift. Always keep the radio on. Never turn it off. Even if it cuts to static, let it run. Only pump gas for vehicles with clear license plates. Do not serve vehicles without plates, even if they offer double cash. Exactly at 3 a.m., seal the cashier window with the metal shield. Do not be a minute late. If anyone knocks after 3 a.m. or calls from the pump intercom, ignore them. If you see someone walking on the highway late at night, turn the outdoor floodlights to maximum and turn away. Absolutely never make eye contact with a customer after 3:30 a.m. no matter what they buy. When leaving, never look in your rearview mirror until you are at least 1 mile away from the station. Jake always figured they were just weird traditions or pranks left by bored former employees, but Howard was so stern, so unsettlingly serious that Jake obeyed them all. Until tonight. The digital clock flipped to 3 a.m. Jake quickly wrestled the heavy metal shield down, locking the cashier's booth. The clank of the old, rusty metal was a final, lonely sound. He settled back, pulling out his phone to scroll, forgetting there was no signal. At 3:05 a.m., the country music on the radio was drowned out by a thick, static burst. Scratch, scratch, scratch. A dry, scraping sound started outside, seemingly coming from the windshield of the non-existent car at Pump 3. Jake checked the security screen. Pump 3 was empty. No vehicle, no person, only the sickly yellow overhead light. Must be the wind, Jake mumbled to himself, or some damn animal. But the scratching didn't stop. It became more desperate, more rhythmic, like something losing patience. Then from the pump intercom, the little speaker used for help requests, came a heavy, wet gasp. "Hey, I know you're in there, Jake. Open the door." The voice was ragged, slow, and difficult, as if the speaker was struggling to push each word up from a deep, rusted throat. Jake froze. "Who is that?" he whispered, heart hammering. "You forgot something, Jake. You left your car keys on the counter last night." Jake clutched his own keys in his pocket. It was a lie, but the sheer fact that it knew his name and was trying to trick him made him sick with panic. He clung to Rule 4. If anyone knocks after 3 a.m., ignore them. Jake tried to zoom in on Pump 3 on the security feed. Squinting, he saw a dark shape clinging to the side of the pump column, half hidden by shadow. It wasn't a person. It was tall and thin, hunched over in a grotesque posture. Its skin was mottled gray and appeared cracked, almost peeled. The most horrifying thing was its head. It was overly large, bald, and covered in rough, horned-like ridges. It had no eyes. Its face was a smooth, stretched canvas of skin, save for 2 deep, empty sockets where the eyes should have been. But it knew Jake was watching. As soon as Jake focused on it, the creature abruptly jetted its head around the pump. Jake could see its mouth clearly. Not a lip in sight, just a deep, jagged tear with dozens of needle-thin, long, sharp teeth. I need gas, Jake." Its voice wasn't coming from the pump intercom anymore, but from the security camera's built-in speaker, warped and distorted. It extended a long skeletal arm. Its hand was not human. Each finger ended in 4-inch black claws, curved and impossibly sharp. The claw slowly, deliberately scraped against the metal shield of the cashier's booth. Screech, screech, screech. The sound was unbearable, vibrating through the floor. "You broke the rule, Jake. You looked at me." The radio crackled back to life, not with music, but with a looping recording of the...
There's only one thing worse than running out of gas at 3 a.m. in the Nevada desert, and that's finding an active gas station. My name's Rick. I'm not a paranormal guy. I'm a software engineer from Seattle who only believes in code and logic. But what I went through on Highway 93, not too far from Area 51, kind of burned all the logic out of my brain. It was about 3:17 a.m. I was driving my old sedan through the most goddamn remote stretch of Arizona, Nevada. The tank was running on fumes, and the low fuel light had been mocking me for over half an hour. I was starting to seriously panic about pulling over and dealing with actual rattlesnakes and whatever other crazy things lurk out there. Then, out of nowhere, I saw it. It wasn't the bright, welcoming glare of a typical convenience store chain, but an old, dimly lit gas station called the Static Station. The sign was rusted, and the open 24 hours lettering was a faulty yellow neon light that kept flickering, making this deeply unsettling, hissing, static sound like bad radio reception. I pulled in. Immediately, my cell service dropped entirely, just a blank screen with no service. The silence out here was so profound, it swallowed the sound of my cooling engine. The station only had 2 ancient pumps. Next to it was a small convenience store, completely dark, except for one single, humming fluorescent light behind the cashier counter. I got out of the car. The air was frigid. I walked up to the pump, trying to find a button to initiate the transaction, but there wasn't one. Just then, the convenience store door slid open with a jarring creak. A guy walked out. He was tall, dressed in moss green work clothes, his face obscured by a baseball cap and the shadows from the awning. He walked straight up to my pump. "Need a fill up?" His voice was deep and flat, like it had been synthesized. "Yeah, please." I couldn't figure out how to start it. He didn't reply. He just reached out and touched the pump. Instantly, the old rusty pump lit up with a faint green glow. The digital display flipped to 0.00. "Just pump," he said, and turned his back, walking straight into the store without another glance. I started pumping the gas. Everything seemed normal, but there was one truly maddening thing. My car radio, which I was certain I'd turned off, had come back on by itself. It wasn't playing music or news, it was blasting loud, painful static, a continuous, warbling, distorted hiss. I reached in to turn it off, but the moment my hand touched the knob, the static spiked to a deafening level, making me snatch my hand back. I decided to ignore it. As soon as the tank was full, I headed inside to pay. Inside, the fluorescent light was still humming offensively. The whole place was brown and gray, with mostly empty shelves. Only a soda fridge in the corner looked somewhat stocked. The guy was standing behind the counter. As I got closer, I finally saw his face clearly. He had no eyebrows, no facial hair, and his skin was a stark, milky white. But the eyes were the worst part. His eyes were deep, violet blue sockets, and they seemed to absorb all light. "That'll be $48.50, he droned. I pulled out my credit card, but he pushed it back. "We don't take cards, cash only." "I only have $20 cash on me," I confessed. The man started to laugh. His laugh wasn't happy, it was a dry, crackling sound from his throat. "I only have $20 cash on me," he confessed. The man started to laugh. His laugh wasn't happy, it was a dry, crackling sound from his throat. "Cash ain't the only currency, buddy. Here, we accept attention." Immediately, the static from my car radio outside spiked again, piercing the glass and creating a physical, sickening pressure in my skull. The fluorescent tube above the man shattered.